Next, viral disease. What viral disease is given here? Most common viral disease is given here. That is the common cold. Many viruses have also caused disease. Many viruses also cause disease in human beings. Rhinoviruses represents one such group of viruses. Which rhinoviruses? Rhinovirus means it is a group of viruses, right? One of the most infectious human ailment, that is common cold. Everyone is infected with common cold in his lifetime, right? They infect the nose and respiratory passage, but not the lungs, right? The common cold is characterized by nasal congestion and discharge, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache, tiredness, etc. Right? Which usually last for 3 to 7 days. Automatically, our body, right, counter this one in within 3 to 7 days, right? These are viruses, so antibiotics are not affect the viruses. Antibiotics only affect the cellular organisms like bacteria, right? But doctors give us antibiotics. Why they give us antibiotics? So that other infection will not come to our body, right? Antibiotics are not for the viruses, okay? Droplets resulting from cough or sneeze of an infected person are either inhaled directly or transmitted through contaminated objects like as to pneumonia, right? This one is also such as pens, books, cups, doorknobs, computer keyboards or mouse, etc. And these cause infection in a healthy person. Same. Now protozoal disease. What is given here? Protozoal, right? Here polio is also a viral infection. Polio means poliovirus, right? Another one is that is hepatitis B, also a viral infection is there, right? So that is virus means HIV, that is we can say hepatitis B virus. Simply disease name plus virus we use here, right? Another one is chikungunya, a viral infection chikungunya. Virus name is CHIKV, CHIKV, right? Some of the human diseases are caused by protozoan too, right? You must have heard about malaria, right? These are protozoan disease. Malaria, because malaria means here which pathogen is there? It is the plasmodium, and plasmodium virus, plasmodium protozoan, it belongs to Protista kingdom. In kingdom, which class is sporo, that is we can say it is the protozoa, and protozoa means we have 4 classes. That which class? It is sporozoa, right? Or sporozoa, and this plasmodium, it has different we can subspecies also there. That is Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malari, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium, that is here given, which one? Vivax, right? So Plasmodium vivax, malari, falciparum and ovale, different varieties are there, different species are there, we can say, right? You might have heard a disease man has been fighting since many years, Plasmodium, a teeny protozoan who has no locomotory organs, is responsible for this disease. Different species of Plasmodium, as for example, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malaria, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, different varieties, different species are there, right? Are responsible for different type of malaria. Most serious, right? Who is Plasmodium falciparum. Of these, malignant malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum. Malignant malaria is caused by Plasmodium falciparum is the most serious one and can even be fatal. Which one? Plasmodium falciparum. Let us take a glance at the life cycle of Plasmodium. Plasmodium is, it has 2 hosts. One is human, another one is mosquito, right? If it means its life cycle, it is continue in 2 hosts. It is completed in 2 hosts. If we remove one host, that means this life cycle cannot be completed, and that means we eradicate this one. We have only one option. Either we remove human or we remove the mosquito. Simply, we are human, we should remove the mosquito. That is given here. Let us Let us take a glance at the life cycle of Plasmodium. What is the life cycle? Plasmodium enters the human body as sporozoites. Sporozoite. It is the infectious stage of Plasmodium for human. Infectious form. Through a bite of infected female Anopheles mosquito. Only female mosquitoes, either they are Anopheles or Aedes or Culex, anyone, only females, they are sanguivorous. One thing is that they cannot suck the blood for feeding mechanism. They suck the blood for reproduction only, right? That's why we cannot consider them ectoparasite, right? Leech is ectoparasite, but this mosquito is not ectoparasite. Only female, they suck the blood, right? Male, they are totally herbivorous or vegetarian. Here given, through the bite of infected female Anopheles, only Anopheles, right? Mosquito. The parasite initially multiply within the liver cell and then attack the red blood cells, RBCs, resulting in their rupture. So first they reach to the liver cell through blood, then they enter into the liver cell, they multiply, right? And after, through sexual reproduction, right? They multiply and are binary fission, or we can say asexual reproduction. Then what happens? They destroy, they rupture the liver cell and come out and infect the red blood cells, right? When they infect the red blood cells, in red blood cells, what happens? Two types of these gametes are formed, right? And when the red blood cells are ruptured, then these red blood cells, they secretes hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a toxic substance, right? And if hemoglobin is present in our blood, then what happens? Our hypothalamus, which is responsible for our body temperature, right? It increases the body temperature. It increases the body temperature means what happens? This is the first incubation period, we can say. Then what happens? A chilled fever will come. That is given here. The rupture of RBCs is associated with the release of a toxic substance, and this substance is hemoglobin, which is responsible for the chill and high fever recurring every 3 or 4 days. Recurring means after 3 or 4 days. That means here we said the incubation period of this mosquito, which is given here 3 to 4 days, that is the 72 hours. Incubation period. Incubation period means what? That is the infection. First infection is there. You can understand through this figure. Look, that is incubation period. Infection. Then after first symptom, right? The first symptom, here it is, I write here, lab check, right? Incubation period means infection, the period between infection and first symptom when we come. It is called incubation period. Incubation period, right? And second, infection and first lab check, diagnosis, it is called as window period. It is called as window period. That is here. Here what happens? Recurring. After infection, the first fever, 3 to 4 days, that is called incubation period, right? When a female Anopheles mosquito bite an infected person, these parasites enter in the mosquito's body through their blood, right? Undergo further development. Mosquito means sexual reproduction and human means asexual reproduction, right? Sexual reproduction starts in human, means gametogenesis starts in human, but it complete fusion occurs inside the mosquito. That's why sexual reproduction occurs inside the mosquito, but it starts in the humans, right? Start means gametogenesis occurs inside the human and fertilization occurs inside the mosquito. When a female, that is enters the mosquito body and under further development, the parasite multiplies within them to form sporozoites that are stored in their salivary glands, right? So in their crop, their foregut, what happens? They multiply, they fused and then they form sporozoites. These sporozoites, they come into the salivary glands you know that crop, then come to the pharynx region. Pharynx region means salivary duct. A single salivary duct is there, and through this duct they go into the salivary glands and store there, right? When these mosquitoes bite a human, the sporozoites are introduced into his or her body, thereby initiating the event mentioned above. Same here body. Then what happens? Through blood, they reach to the liver cells. In liver cells, they multiply, and after rupturing the liver cells, they enter into the RBC. When they enter into the RBC, and after the gametogenesis, what happens? They rupture the RBC. When RBC is ruptured, then RBC release hemojoin. When hemojoin present in the blood, then what happens? Fever come. Hypothalamus increase the body temperature, right? After some time, what happens? When this toxic substance is controlled, then our fever lowers down. We feel normal, right? Next incubation period, after 72 hours, that is 3 to 4 days, what happens? Once more these blood cells, they are ruptured. When they ruptured, they release, that is hemojoin. Once more fever will come. Incubation period was what? What do you mean incubation period? That is a lifespan, simply we can say, right? It is interesting to note that malaria parasite requires two hosts, human and mosquito. Which one? Human and mosquito. To complete its life cycle, the female Anopheles mosquito is the vector, that is the transmitting agent to female Anopheles only, right? Aedes, female Aedes for dengue, right? Another Aedes for chikungunya also, right? And second one is filaria worm. It is Culex mosquito. Now, a figure is given, and through this figure, you understand what happens. Look here. When the mosquito bites, another human sporozoites are injected into the bite. Look, this mosquito. Now, these are what? These are sporozoites. Sporozoites means infectious stage. They enter into the RBCs, right? Now, here, through RBCs, sporozoites in RBCs means in blood, right? And through blood they reach to the liver. This one is our liver, right? And inside the liver, these are sporozoites. You can see they come. Parasite sporozoites reach to the liver through blood, right? Then what happens? Inside the liver, these are liver cells. Liver cells are cuboidal cells, and you see here, right? This liver cell. Now what happens in the liver cell? They multiply. This one is nucleus, and these are sporozoites. Inside the liver, they multiply from 3 to forms many, and after rupture, that is the ruptured liver cell. The parasite reproduces asexually in liver cell, bursting the cell and releasing into the blood. Now they release into the blood. When they release into the blood, then what happens? That is our RBC. These are RBC, right? RBCs. Now this enters, that is our sporozoite, right? Now here they replicate. They replicate and then through asexually. It is through asexually. Parasite reproduce asexually in red blood cells, bursting the red blood cells and causing cycle of fever and other symptoms. Released parasites infect new RBC. Now they infect the new RBC. Simply this. So here asexual reproduction. Through asexual reproduction they multiply, and after use the cytoplasm, then after what happens? They rupture these blood cells and release. When they rupture this blood cell, when blood cell is ruptured, so this blood cell, it release hemojoin. As that, for example, this one is ruptured, it release hemojoin, toxic, and that is responsible for fever, chilled fever, right? So one cycle means it took 72 hours for one cycle, and that's why recurring fever come 3 to 4 days. After interval of 3 to 4 days. Now, another thing. This is one asexual reproduction. But next, sexual reproduction. Sexual stages, that is gametocytes, develop in red blood cell, or we can say gametogenesis occurs inside the human cell, inside the human RBCs. This one is our RBC. And this one. This one is, these are sporozoites. Now here they are not called sporozoites, they are called as gametocytes, because here gametes are formed. Right? So two type of gametes are present in two different RBCs, not a single, in different RBCs. One RBCs, look, this is called Ringnett stage. This stage is called Ringnett stage. RINGNET, Ringnett stage. Because at this stage, RBC looks like rings. Now here, large. If it is large, it is called mega gamete, macrogamete, which act as female. And this one is smaller one, it act as male. Right? And then after what happens? They rupture the RBCs, and what happens? Gametocytes are released. These are gametocytes. Gametocytes are released. These are our ruptured blood cells, right? Inside the blood cell, these are gametes. So male gametes means it is sperm-like. This one is male gamete and this one is female gamete. Now it is stuck by another mosquito, right? And once more, what happens? Mosquito. Now look, it enters into the mosquito gut. So now it enters in female mosquito take up the gametocytes with blood meal, right? And then what happens inside the mosquito? That is fusion take place. This one is mega cells, mega gamete. Mega gamete means what? Female, and that one is our male, microgamete, right? Now fusion take place inside the mosquito gut, inside the mosquito foregut, right? After fusion, what happens? Zygote is formed, and this zygote, it forms number of sporozoites. These are sporozoites, right? Do you understand here? Fusion occurs in mosquito gut. That's why here it is giving mosquito. Look, mosquito and here human host. Mosquito and human host, right? Two hosts are given here. This is the salivary gland. So they come from where they come. You understand that is salivary gland, and this is you. And the salivary gland is there, and this only a single opening is there, right? This is the crop of the mosquito. So in crop, what happens? This fertilization takes place, and from crop they come to the salivary gland and store here with saliva. They are stored, right? And when this infected mosquito, female mosquito, when it bites a healthy person, it pure the saliva, because this saliva, it is it acts as anti-coagulating agent. Anti-coagulating agent, right? So they secrete the blood inside. They secrete the saliva into the blood. Okay, this means this mosquito secretes saliva in the blood, right? And suck the blood, so that blood cannot be coagulated. And when it releases this saliva into the blood, with the saliva, these sporozoites, they also enters into the human blood. And then once more, this cycle goes on. Okay, I think you understand this one. Now another protozoan disease. Another protozoan disease is given here, dysentery. Already we read one dysentery means that is bacterial dysentery, that is sigillosis, right? And here dysentery, it is protozoan dysentery. Protozoan dysentery means what? Ant amoeba histolytica is given here. Ant amoeba histolytica, right? Histo means tissue, and lytica means what? Who digest the tissue, right? That is. and amoeba, which is present in enterobius. Enterobius means what? Small means intestine in the gut. Amoeba, which is present in our intestine and which digest the tissues. The name refers. Ant amoeba histolytica is a protozoan parasite in the large intestine of human. Large intestine, sometimes it is called as colon, right? Which causes amoebiasis. That is called amoebic dysentery. Symptoms of this disease include constipation, abdominal pain, cramps, stool with excess mucus, and blood clots are there. Okay. House flies. Who is the vector? House flies act as mechanical carrier and serve to transmit the parasite from feces of infected person to food, right? And also to food products, right? Thereby contaminating them, and drinking water and food contaminated by the fecal matter are the main source of infection. Contaminated food and drink water also responsible for this one. But who is the mechanical carrier for this amoebic dysentery? It is housefly. Housefly means Musca domestica, right? And Amoeba histolytica. Next disease, it is given Helminths. Hear about Helminths. Helminth means here nematode disease is given, Ascaris, and another one is Vaucheria bancrofti, that is filaria worm. Ascaris, the common roundworm, commonly called as roundworm, and Vaucheria, that is commonly called as filaria worm, are some of the helminths which are known to be pathogenic to human. Ascaris, an intestinal parasite, causes ascariasis. If it is Taenia solium, it is called teniasis, right? Symptoms of this disease include internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of intestinal passages, because they are present in the form of bunch if they are more in number. The eggs of the parasite are excreted through along with the feces, right, of infected person, which contaminate the soil, water, plants, etc. Sometimes what we use radish or carrots simply as salad, right, which is not cooked also. So simply we wash and eat. If it is infected and it is not properly washed, then what happens? The spores of this one, the eggs of Ascaris, we also took, right? A healthy person acquired this infection through contaminated water, vegetables, fruits, etc. Here you understand, that is ascariasis. Next one is our filaria, and figure is also given here. You can understand that this one is called elephantiasis, and this is due to the blockage of lymphatic vessels of lower limb, right? The lymphatic vessels means then what happens? Lymph means what? Simply you know lymph, how a lymph is formed. Lymph is the extract of blood and also it is extract of ECF means, right? And it is circulated in our body continuously. And when a blockage is present in lymphatic vessels, then what happens? It is stored in the specific region, because it is a continuous process. Then what happens? Slowly tissue fluid increase and a elephant leg like appearance happens. So it is also called as elephantiasis, right? Simply first we can say it is filaria, and when it becomes very huge, means like elephant legs, then it is called as elephantiasis, right? Here it is given here. Vaucheria or Vaucheria bancrofti and Vaucheria malai. The filaria worm, these are filaria worm. These are malai. The filarial worm causes a slowly developing chronic inflammation. Chronic, one word is coming, chronic. Chronic means long term disease. Long term. Acute and chronic. Two words are there. Acute means what? Short duration. For short duration or term. And chronic means for long term, right? Chronic inflammation of organs in which they live for many years, usually the lymphatic vessels of the lower limb, and the disease is called elephantiasis or filariasis. Who is the pathogen? Bouchereria, Bancroft and Malai. The genital organs also often affected, resulting in gross deformities, right? Abnormal structure is formed. The pathogens are transmitted to a healthy person through a bite of female mosquito vector. Which female mosquito vector? It is Culex. Culex female. Inflammation in some of the lower limb due to the elephantiasis, right? Female Culex is responsible here. For malaria, it is Anopheles. Many fungi. Now, last one is our fungal infection, right? This is the helminths. Both are nematodes, right? Platyhelminthes means, okay, we have tapeworm. Tapeworm is teniasis. If it teniasis, so teniasis is not a nematodes. This one is cystode. Already we read in previous class that they belongs to a class Cystoda. That's why they are called as cystodes. Many fungi belongs to the genera Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton. 3 genera: Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton. Look here, Trichophyton is given. Here Trichoderma is not given. Trichoderma is biocontrol agent. We will read this one next chapter, right? Here Trichophyton and Epidermophyton are responsible for ringworm, rashes on skin. This form here you can see these rashes, which is one of the most common infectious disease in man. Appearance of dry scaly lashes on various parts of the body such as skin, nails, and scalps are the main symptoms of the disease. The lashes are accompanied by intense itching, heat and moisture. One thing is very important here. Which one? Heat and moisture. This one. Heat and moisture help these fungi to grow, which makes them thrive in skin folds such as those in groin or in between the toes. In between two skin, what happens? There moisture is present due to the presence of sweat glands and the heat. That's why they grow in skin folds. Ringworms are generally acquired from soil by using towels, clothes, or even the cum of infected individuals, right? So these are some diseases which is given here. And last, it is given about the maintenance of personal hygiene, personal public hygiene. What is given here? We should read here. Maintenance of personal public hygiene is very important for prevention and control of many infectious diseases. Personal and public hygiene. Already we read this one where in the previous paragraph. Measures for personal hygiene include what is given first for personal, that is personal hygiene. It includes keeping the body clean first. Second, consumptions of clean drinking water, food, vegetable, fruits. Third, it is the for personal. Great. Second is public hygiene. That is given public hygiene. Includes proper disposal of waste, excreta, periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs, pools, cesspools, tanks, observing standard practices of hygiene in public catering, in public mess or public restaurant or hotels, right? These measures are particularly essential where the infectious agents are transmitted through food and water such as typhoid, amoebiasis, ascariasis. These are separate through contaminated food and water, right? In case of airborne disease such as pneumonia and common cold through air droplets, right? In addition to the above measures, close contact with the infected person, we have to avoid this one, right? or their belongings should be avoided at the time of infection. For diseases such as malaria and filaria, because they are malaria through female mosquito, Anopheles mosquito, filaria through female Culex mosquito, that are transmitted through insect vectors, the most important measure is to control or eliminate the vectors. Which vectors? Female mosquitoes, that is Culex and Anopheles, right? Their breeding place also. This can be achieved by the avoiding stagnation of water, where water is stored, and around the residential area, regular cleaning of household coolers, use of mosquito nets, introducing fish. Which fish? An example, larvivorous fish, Gambusia, larvivorous fish, right? Gambusia in ponds that feed on mosquito larvae, spraying of insecticides in ditches, drainage area, swamps, etc. In addition, door and windows should be provided with wire mesh. This time we know this one. So wire already, if we make a door, a wire mesh is from here, mesh, to prevent the entry of mosquito. Such precautions have become more important, especially in light of recent widespread incidence of the vector-borne, that is Aedes mosquito disease. Now, third mosquito, which one? Aedes, and it is responsible for dengue and chikungunya. That is given here, like dengue and chikungunya in many parts of India. In many parts of India. Right? The advancement made in biological science have armed us to effectively deal with many infectious diseases. The use of vaccines, immunizations programs have been enabled to us completely eradicate a deadly disease, that is called smallpox. Who discovered the vaccine of smallpox? Edward Jenner. And he is also called as father of immunization. Immunization. Edward Jenner. 1796 he invented this one, right? Smallpox vaccine. With the help of cowpox. At that time, cowpox. A large number of other infectious diseases like polio, mytilus, diphtheria, pneumonia, and tetanus, right? Polio means viral infection, polio virus. Diphtheria, already we know, Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Pneumonia, already we know, that is Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenza. Tetanus means Clostridium tetani. Clostridium tetani, right? That is have been controlled to a large extent by the use of vaccines, right? Biotechnology, about which you will read more in chapter 7. Okay, we will read in chapter 10. Each at the verge of making available of newer and safer vaccines. Hepatitis B, it is due to the, from where we get the hepatitis B vaccine? It is through genetic engineering in Escherichia coli, right? Discovery of antibiotics and various other drugs has also enabled us to effectively treat the infectious disease, right? So now you understand which disease we are talking here in our initiative, what diseases are given here. Finally, can you tell me which disease are given here? First, I am writing here bacterial disease. Which bacterial disease? First one is given here, typhoid. Second is given pneumonia. Third was which disease given here? Third is our given here, dysentery, right? Another what is given here? dysentery, it is another, we can say diphtheria. Next one is given here, that is our plague. And one more is given, last time it is given tetanus, right? Typhoid means salmonella, typhi, pneumonia, one is our streptococcus pneumoniae, right? Second is our Haemophilus influenza, right? Dysentery means Shigella, right? Shigellosis. And diphtheria means Corynebacterium diphtheriae. These are scientific names, right? Already I tell you, but here only we are going to revise only one. Plague, Yersinia pestis, and tetanus, Clostridium tetani. Right? These are the pathogens and these is the disease. Second, what is given here? We have viral infection is given. So viral infection or wild disease means which wild disease is given here? First is common cold. Common cold means rhinovirus, right? Second, what is given here? No, plague. Right? Third, what is given here? That is our polio, mytilus, right? Simply the polio virus we can say. Right? Okay, these are the viral infection is given. Protozoan disease. Which protozoan disease is given? I said two protozoan diseases are given. First one is malaria through Plasmodium vivax, malaria and falciparum, in which this falciparum, it is most notorious, right, or fatal. Vector is our, who is the vector? It is Anopheles, female Anopheles, right? Another disease which is given, protozoan disease, that is our amoebiasis. Dysentery, amoebiasis dysentery, who is the, it is ant amoeba histolytica, Histolytica, ant amoeba histolytica. So two protozoan diseases are given right here. If we consider the helminths, now next is helminths. What we read about the helminths? Which helminth diseases are given here? Here two helminth diseases are also given. Which helminth? First one is given Ascariasis. For Ascariasis means Ascaris lumbricoides. Ascaris lumbricoides, stomach. And second, what is given? Ascaris means through contaminated food and water. And second one is given here, Vaucheria bancrofti. Which one? Filaria. Filaria, or another name is here, Elephantiasis. Elephantiasis, right? It is through which one? Vaucheria bancrofti and Malai. These two are responsible, right? And it is through a mosquito. What is the, who is the vector in this one? It is the Culex, female mosquito vector, right? That is Anopheles, it is the vector. And last, it is given our fungal infection. Fungal infection. For fungal, three fungus are given. Which were given? Microsporum first, second Trichophyton, and epidermophyton. This is all about which we read today here. Means different diseases which is present in our NCERT. Two another diseases are also given. I think I am not written here. Which one? One is okay, plague I write here. Sorry, dengue. Dengue not given. So dengue and chikungunya. And they are through female Aedes. Aedes, female Aedes, A-D-E-G-E, female Aedes mosquito, right? This is the vector. Chikungunya virus is chick-V virus, right? So these are some diseases which we read in our NCERT, and you should also read about the pathogens, about this symptom and signs. Symptom and sign you have to read this about these vectors, right? Okay, today we finish our class. Next time we will read about the immunities and our immune system. Okay.